Hello and welcome to the 2025 Rotary Challenge. I'm Caleb Chevalier, and this year I get to moderate the preliminary rounds of the competition. And if you're unfamiliar with the rules, let's go over those really quick. It is a 3-round competition. The first round, there are points allotted at various amounts for the questions, and the teams will have a chance to answer each of them. And then we get into the second round, the Blitz, or some know it as the lightning round, where we will give categories to teams they'll attempt to answer on their own, but the other team can steal if one team does get some of those wrong. Then we go back to round 3, and it operates just like the first, and we add it all up to find out who is our winner based on who scored the most points. We're in for a thrill, so let's see what action we've got in store. This is the 2025 Rotary Challenge. Thanks so much for joining us, and we've got another great matchup here in the preliminary rounds. This is a face-off between Vanguard and China Spring, and of course only one can move on to the quarters. We'll just have to find out who that is at the end of this action. But again, it's China Spring and Vanguard today. We're going to go into round 1, which is, you know, the pretty kind of round setting that you all are probably used to. These questions are going to be worth certain amounts of points, and we'll keep going until I'm told that we have no time left at the end of this round. And then round 2 is the Blitz round. How's everyone feeling?
Good.
We're good? All right, ready to rock and roll. Okay, let's get started with that first question. For 5 points, in this painting, a man holding a bag knocks over a salt cellar. Jesus and his disciples are depicted sharing a meal in what fresco by Leonardo da Vinci?
The Last Supper.
You are correct. Remember, if I'll call on you guys and you can recite, but yes, China Spring, you've got the Last Supper. No, you're good. All right, for 10 points. Weight multiplied by this function of the slope angle gives the normal force for an object on an inclined plane. Secant is the inverse of what trigonometric function defined as adjacent over hypotenuse? Vanguard.
Cosine.
Cosine, SOHCAHTOA, we all know that one. For 5 points. This queen adorned her hair with a battleship to celebrate a naval victory. During the Reign of Terror, this queen was guillotined. And China Spring.
Marie Antoinette.
Marie Antoinette. Let them eat cake. For 5 points. Staple meals in this country include a savory sandwich called banh mi, and its national dish, Vanguard.
Thailand.
Incorrect. I'll start from the top. Staple meals in this country include a savory sandwich called banh mi, and its national dish is a kind of noodle soup called pho. Name this country where pho... Yes?
Vietnam.
That's Vietnam. For 10 points, these cells have cell bodies called soma, as well as axons and dendrites. These cells communicate, China Spring?
Neurons.
Yes, neurons is the answer there. For 10 points, during this conflict, a banner reading "Mission Accomplished" was hung from a U.S. aircraft carrier, though this war continued until 2011. What conflict resulted in the overthrow of Saddam Hussein? China Spring?
The Iraq War.
The Iraq War. For 15 points, a modification of this law that corrects for deviations in pressure and volume with the coefficients A and B is the van der Waals equation. What gas law states that PV equals nRT? Vanguard?
The ideal gas
The
law.
ideal gas law. For 20 points, all right, some points here. During this war, a female prime minister was investigated by the Agranat Commission and later resigned. That woman was Golda Meir. What 1973 war began with an Egyptian and Syrian surprise attack during the holiest day in Judaism? That's the Yom Kippur War, or you might know it as the Fourth Arab-Israeli War. For 15 points, an IBM machine in this novel mistakenly promotes Major Major. Colonel Cathart keeps raising the number of required flight missions in what novel about John Yossarian, written by Joseph Heller? Catch-22. For 10 points, this Swiss psychologist's work inspired Catherine Briggs and her daughter Isabel Myers to do their work on personality. What Swiss author wrote Psychological Types? Vanguard.
Sigmund Freud.
Incorrect. Would you like me to repeat?
No.
Okay, that is Carl Jung. Carl Jung is the person we're looking for. For 15 points, this molecule is the ultimate product of an alternative pathway that utilizes PEP carboxylase to concentrate CO2 in bundle sheath cells. What molecule, whose formula is C6H12? We have Vanguard.
Butane?
Incorrect. I'll finish this. What molecule, whose formula is C6H12O6, is the product of glycogen breakdown and photosynthesis? Yes?
Glucose.
Glucose. Moving on. Let's get a score check, please, if we can.
China Spring with 50 and Vanguard with 25. Let's go.
Come on. Good job.
Vanguard 25, we got China Spring at 50, so we've got points that are doubled up, but we are still in round one. There is so much left to be played. For 10 points, what person is the subject of Leonardo da Vinci's Salvator Mundi, in which he makes a sign of the cross? China Spring?
Jesus.
That's Jesus. For 10 points, which president's tenure saw the establishment of Medicare as part of his Great Society program? Vanguard?
Bush.
That is incorrect. China Spring?
FDR.
Also incorrect. We're looking for Lyndon Baines Johnson, LBJ. For 5 points, this NFL player surpassed Jerry Rice in all-time playoff receptions in 2024. Which tight end won Super Bowl 58 with the Kansas City Chiefs? China Spring?
Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce, dating Taylor Swift. For 15 points, this man is currently the CEO of Block and founded a successful social media site that doubled its character limit in 2017. Vanguard?
Jack Dorsey?
That's Jack Dorsey. For 20 points, answer the following about a right triangle whose legs have lengths of 4 and 7 meters, rounded to the nearest integer. What is the length of the triangle's hypotenuse? China Spring?
5.
That is incorrect. I'll reread this. Answer the following about a right triangle whose legs have lengths of 4 and 7 meters, rounded to the nearest integer. What is the length of the triangle's hypotenuse? You all have answered, so I'll go to Vanguard if they have an answer. Vanguard?
8.
That is 8. 8 meters is correct. For 10 points, Emery's rule explains the social variety of what behavior between closely related species where an organism is harmed at the benefit of another? China Spring?
Parasitism.
Parasitism. For 10 points, the oldest volcano on this island is the extinct Kohala. The island's astronomy precinct contains observatories named for a volcano that erupted in November 2022 for the first time since 1984. That volcano is the world's largest above sea level. Name this island home to Mauna Kea. China Spring?
Kauai.
Pardon?
Kauai.
Incorrect. Shall I reread? Yes.
Maui?
We're looking for Hawaii, the namesake island, Hawaii. All right, for 10 points. Dmitry Vrubel created a mural on this structure of Leonid Brezhnev and Erich Honecker kissing. Ronald Reagan commanded Mikhail Gorbachev to tear down China Spring.
The German Wall.
That is incorrect. We'll go to Vanguard.
The Berlin Wall.
The Berlin Wall. That's the answer. For 10 points. One river with this name enters the Gulf of Mexico near Matagorda and flows through Austin. Another river with this name has been dammed to create Lake Powell and Lake Mead. Name this river that flows through the Hoover Dam and the Grand Canyon and shares its name with a U.S. state. Vanguard.
Mississippi.
That is incorrect. China Spring.
Colorado River.
Colorado. For 15 points. This person described imperialism as the highest stage of capitalism. Nikolai Chernyshevsky inspired this person to write the pamphlet, What is to be Done? China Spring.
Karl Marx.
Incorrect. I'll finish reading this. Leon Trotsky was assassinated for his interpretation of this earlier leader's political philosophy. Name this first premier of the Soviet Union.
Can you repeat it?
Sure, from the top. This person described imperialism as the highest stage of capitalism. Nikolai Chernyshevsky inspired this person to write the pamphlet, What is to be Done? Leon Trotsky was assassinated for his interpretation of this earlier leader's political philosophy. Name this first premier of the Soviet Union. Yes?
Vladimir Lenin?
Lenin is the answer. For 10 points. In this state, the incumbent Bob Casey lost the 2024 senatorial election to Dave McCormick. In this state, Doug Mastriano lost the 2022 gubernatorial race to Josh Shapiro. In what state's 2022 Senate election did Mehmet Oz lose to John Fetterman? China Spring.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
There we go. Good job. Let's go.
For 15 points, before we get there, let's get a score check.
China Spring 95, Vanguard 85.
Oh boy, this is one of the closer ones we've had today. China Spring 95, Vanguard 85. That's where we stand. We still got a little bit of round one to go. For 15 points, the eastern part of the Lake of the Woods is in this province, whose city of Hamilton contains McMaster University. The Ambassador Bridge connects this province's city of Windsor to Detroit. Name this Canadian province bordered to the west by Manitoba and whose capital is Toronto. Vanguard.
Calgary?
It is not Calgary. China Spring.
Ontario.
It is Ontario, the province of Ontario. We have about 35 seconds. For 5 points, what European city is led by Sadiq Khan, who succeeded Boris Johnson? China Spring.
London.
London. For 5 points, in the Hearts suit, this card is sometimes called the Suicide. One of its type, yes, Vanguard?
King.
King. For 10 points, longships were used by what seafaring Scandinavians?
Vikings.
Vanguard. And you're right, it's Vikings, and that brings us to the end of round one. What's the final, or so far, the score from that, judges?
China Spring 115, Vanguard 100.
I like it. This is shaping up to be one of the closer ones that we've had. All right, we're going into the Blitz round after this, and we'll get to that
I lost this.
right after these messages.
At Daniel Stark, we work hard. If you're a true Texan, working hard comes with the territory.
Here you go, Danny.
True Texan right here.
We train hard. Winning, it doesn't come easy. You have to practice, you have to commit.
And we lawyer hard. Good thing, too. You need a law firm that gets to know your unique story and what it takes to help you get your life back to normal. Daniel Stark, we lawyer hard.
We're back to the 2025 Rotary Challenge in the middle of a great round between Vanguard and China Spring. This one's shaping up to be awesome. We just made it into the Blitz round. China Spring has the lead at 115. Closely behind at 100 is Vanguard, and we're in the Blitz. So let me just briefly recap how this is going to work. The trailing team right now, Vanguard, I'm going to give you the choice of 3 categories. You'll pick one. We're going to see how many of those you can get through in a minute, but you guys need to be paying attention because the ones that they miss, you can steal. Then we will reverse that process. I'll give you a choice of the other 2 categories they didn't take. You'll answer, and you guys can steal from those. Are we ready? Feeling good? All right. Let's get the energy up in here. I know it's getting a little later in the day, but you guys are definitely bringing the heat. So we're going to put 60 seconds on that clock. Before I do that, I want to ask your choice of categories. We're going to give you either starts with the letter E, the oboe, or starts with the letter K.
Yeah, let's do E. Yeah, let's do
E.
Starts with the letter E is their category of choice. We will put that 1 minute on the clock, and we will start. And again, you don't have to buzz in for this. This is just for you guys. We'll start now. Southernmost of North America's Great Lakes.
Erie.
Yes. Biological catalysts that include trypsin and helicase.
Enzymes.
Enzymes. South American country where the Battle of Pichincha. Yes. Bird whose bald type is the national symbol. Eagle. 2021 animated Disney movie in which Stephanie Beatriz. Encanto. Biblical woman who saves the Jews. Esther. Chilean island where Moai statues were created.
Island.
Easter Island. African country that won the Battle of Adwa against the Kingdom of Italy.
Eritrea?
Ethiopia.
That is not Eritrea. English king known as the Hammer of the Scots and Longshanks.
Edward.
Can you be more specific?
Second.
Incorrect. Frequent collaborator of Tim Burton, who wrote the score for The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Edison. Continue.
That's not quite it. All right, so you got through all 10. There are 3 questions that you all can steal. We're going to give you those untimed. See if you can answer those. All right, fellas, China Spring here. Let's go African country that won the Battle of Adwa against the Kingdom of Italy.
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia. English king known as the Hammer of the Scots and Longshanks.
Edward V.
We're looking for Edward I. Frequent collaborator of Tim Burton, who wrote the score for The Nightmare Before Christmas.
We don't know.
It's the great Danny Elfman. I know some folks in the room know that name. All right. How are we doing on scores, judges?
We have Vanguard with 170, China Spring with 125.
Vanguard at 170 and 125? Okay, now again, things can flip here in just a moment because we're going to do the blitz in reverse. China Spring, they chose starts with the letter E, so I will give you the choice of starts with the letter K or the oboe.
Letter K.
Starts with the letter K. I like the theme going here. All right. And again, this is without the buzzer. You'll just answer me. Guys, listen up. You can steal some of these. 60 seconds on the clock. And go. 16th century German astronomer with the 3 laws of planetary motion.
Kaufman.
Incorrect. Types of an oven used for firing pottery.
Kiln.
Kiln. Bean-shaped organs that filter toxins. Kidneys. Mexican woman with a unibrow who painted the 2 Fridas. Frida Kahlo, very good. Shakespearean tragedy in which Cordelia is banished by her father.
King James.
That is incorrect. Country on the Persian Gulf that was invaded by Iraq in 1990.
Kuwait.
Kuwait. Author from Maine whose horror novels include The Shining and Carrie.
King. Stephen
Yes,
King.
Stephen King. Terms for spirits and deities that are venerated in the Shinto religion.
Skip.
Okay. University where 4 students were killed by the Ohio National Guard in 1970. So we didn't get to that one. Remember, this starts with the letter K. We're going to come to you without the timer. 16th century German astronomer with 3 laws of planetary motion.
Kepler.
That is Kepler. Moving on. Shakespearean tragedy in which Cordelia is banished by her father.
King Lear.
King Lear. Terms for spirits and deities that are venerated in the Shinto religion.
Kaiju?
Kami. Kami is what we're looking for. Okay, have we sorted out these scores, gentlemen?
Krypton is the atomic number 36. It is a noble gas.
Okay.
So we're going to accept that.
We will accept the answer of Krypton. How does that bring us to points?
That gives us Vanguard at 200, China Spring at 175.
Okay, this is still close, y'all. We got Vanguard 200, China Spring 175. This is the closest match that I've had the pleasure of moderating today, and I'm hoping that we're still going to be in for a barn burner as we get into round 3. Don't go anywhere. You're going to want to catch the exciting conclusion of this one after this.
The deals are real at Colleen Auto. We have just the Ford you're looking for. Trucks, SUVs, or something in between. Come check out our amazing, newly built and open Colleen Hyundai store. Find a sleek Volkswagen at Colleen Volkswagen. We have over 300 used to choose at Colleen Certified, including many options under 20 grand. Ford, Hyundai, Volkswagen, or used, the deals are real at Colleen Auto. ColeenAuto.com.
This is the third and final round of Vanguard versus China Spring, and we've got a great game. And a reminder of the scores, please, judges.
We have Vanguard 200 and China Spring 175.
Vanguard 200, China Spring 175. We're into that third round, which works the same as the first. But before we go any further, I do want to get to know our bright young contestants here that we've got today. We'll start with Vanguard. First, if you could introduce yourself from the end of the table to me.
My name is Luke.
I'm Owen.
I'm Aria Cleveland.
I'm Patrick Nielsen.
Wonderful. Great to have you guys along. And China Spring, if you could do the same from the end.
My name's Knox Outlaw.
I'm Madeline Mack.
I'm Braden Carlin.
I'm Easton Roby.
So I'm curious, guys, we'll start with China Spring. Is this the only extracurricular that you guys do, or what else are you guys involved in?
You go. You can start.
I'm a part of basketball and just a lot of stuff in the school.
There you go. Nice. We got some athletes in the building, too. How about you guys?
Me and Madeline play tennis. We made it to state this year.
Nuh-uh. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done, well done. And you, sir?
I'm the student council president, and I'm in band.
Man after my own heart. I'm a fellow band kid. What do you play?
I'm a percussionist.
Okay, awesome. We did have some percussion questions earlier. I think you weren't around for those, but we have had some of those in the books today. Well, congratulations, and hopefully not only your success will continue here, but with whatever we've got going on there at school. And for you guys, what else are you involved in outside of Rotary?
I do tennis. I'm part of the Latin club, chemistry club. Play percussion outside of school.
Okay, percussion.
All sorts of stuff.
Good, good. What about you?
I do hurdles and track. I play soccer, and then I play French horn for the orchestra.
That's my man. I'm a French horn player. Well done. Thank you.
And I play guitar, and I play for my church and youth group.
Awesome, awesome. And you all?
I am a cheerleader, and I play the viola and the piano, and I love music.
Love that. How about you, sir?
I'm part of our one-act play troupe, and I TA for our chem teacher.
All right, well, there you go. As you can see, every contestant here, this is not the only thing they do. In fact, everybody's heavily involved in some extracurriculars in their schools, and we love to see that. We know that they are active in what they do, and we've got musicians, athletes, all of the above, all rolled into this. That is awesome to see. So we've got a great troupe here and a great game separated by only about 25 points or so. And we're going to move on into round 3 to decide who is going into the quarterfinals. Let's pick it up here with this question. For 10 points, what capital city faced a commune shortly after the deposition of Napoleon III?
Can you repeat?
China Spring.
Paris?
That's Paris. For 20 points, Ray Guy was the only player of this position taken in the first round. Name this NFL position the subject of a Rich Eisen campaign stating that they are people too. China Spring.
Punter?
Punters. Punters are people too. For 15 points, Lake Titicaca and Bolivia are located in what South American mountain range? Vanguard.
The Andes?
Andes Mountains. For 20 points, this god is worshipped with statues called lingams. He is sometimes depicted as Natara, lord of the dance, and commonly shown with the Ganges flowing through his hair. Name this deity with a third eye. China Spring.
Buddha?
Incorrect. Vanguard. We're out of time for that one? Yeah, the answer was Shiva. All right, for 5 points. This person instructed Robert Newman to hang lanterns in the Old North Church and light one by land. China Spring.
Paul Revere?
Paul Revere. For 15 points, Mitchell can run a mile in 10 minutes, and Sophia can run a mile in 8 minutes. If they both run for an hour, how many more miles will Sophia run than Mitchell? Vanguard.
120?
In how many miles? No, sir. Do we have an answer? Did we get that in? Yes, go for it.
2?
We're looking for 1.5. The answer is 1.5. For 10 points, a work by Sigmund Freud is titled after the interpretation of what events which people experience while asleep? Vanguard. Dreams. Dreams is the answer. For 10 points, in Britain, this event is known as the Incident on King Street. John Adams defended perpetrators of this event, such as Thomas Preston, China Spring.
Boston Massacre.
Boston Massacre. For 20 points, what former British Pacific colony is home to the Maori people? Vanguard.
New Zealand?
New Zealand. For 15 points, what river names the world's largest rainforest? Vanguard.
Amazon.
It's the Amazon. For 5 points, in November 2024, this state's Southwest District Health Department became the first public agency banned from giving COVID vaccines. The highest vaccine exemption rate in the U.S. is in what Mountain West state, led from Boise? Vanguard.
Idaho?
Idaho. For 10 points, this state's Upper Peninsula borders Wisconsin. What state's Lower Peninsula, China Spring?
Michigan.
Michigan. For 10 points, this state was the birthplace of the first English person born in the New World, Virginia Dare. John White discovered the word Croatoan of Vanguard.
Virginia.
Incorrect. John White discovered the word Croatoan on a tree in this state. Name this state where Roanoke was founded by Walter Raleigh. Yes.
Pennsylvania.
We're looking for North Carolina. That is where Roanoke was. For 15 points, this person was assassinated in the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles by the Palestinian Sirhan Sirhan. Name this former Attorney General and younger brother of John F. Kennedy. China Spring.
Robert F. Kennedy.
Robert F. Kennedy. For 15 points, the first televised presidential debates were held during this year. John F. Kennedy defeated Richard Nixon in the presidential election of what year? Vanguard.
1964?
Incorrect. China Spring.
1954?
It's in between those. 1960 was the election year.
Yeah, I guess it was.
For 10 points. Vaccines against this disease were developed by Albert Sabin and Jonas Salk. Franklin Roosevelt had what paralysis?
Polio.
You are correct, it is polio. You're good. 10 points. This man, selected 6th in the 2012 NBA draft after attending Weber State, was formerly part of a backcourt with C.J. McCollum. What point guard was traded from Portland to Milwaukee and is nicknamed Dame Time? China Spring.
Damian Lillard.
The basketball player answers Damian Lillard. Yes, well done. Let's get a score check since we have 2 minutes to go.
We have Vanguard 275, China Spring 255.
Okay, this is so close, and we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. Vanguard 275, China Spring 255. Separated by 20 points, we've got under 2 minutes. Let's go. For 5 points, this lieutenant colonel's troops killed Joseph Coulon de Jumonville, sparking the French and Indian War. This general surrendered Fort Necessity during the French Vanguard.
George Washington.
George Washington. For 5 points, this city's central library features an irregularly shaped steel net surrounded by a glass skin. This city contains glass conservatories as part of Amazon's main headquarters. Tourists can go to the top of the Space Needle in this city. Vanguard, Seattle, Washington. For 15 points, what semiconductor manufacturer, also known for its computer processors like the
Intel.
Vanguard? That's Intel. For 10 points, this god's signature weapon requires 2 gauntlets to use due to an overly short handle. China Spring.
Thor.
That's Thor. For 5 points, the Weber River flows into this body of water which has shrunk considerably due to frequent droughts. China Spring.
The Oral Sea. The Oral
Incorrect. We've got 30 seconds. I'll repeat. The Weber River flows into this body of water which has shrunk considerably due to frequent droughts. What lake, known as America's Dead Sea, names the capital of Utah? Yes.
Salt Lake.
You'll have to be more specific, please.
The Great Salt Lake.
The Great Salt Lake, yes. For 5 points, this country deployed 3,000 troops to its northeastern neighbor to help Russia against Ukraine. What Asian country, which has also deployed Vanguard?
North Korea.
North Korea. And that concludes our round and our game. I cannot wait to hear what these scores are, judges.
Vanguard 310, China Spring 265.
Vanguard 310, China Spring 265. A thrilling victory here from Vanguard, but both teams did exceptionally well. This is one of the best games played that I've seen today. You both have so much to be proud of. China Spring, I want to thank you all for being here, and thank you guys for being here. Of course, you'll be moving on into the quarterfinals. Congratulations to Vanguard, and we will be seeing more of them later on as we venture deeper into the competition, but I'm sure we'll be seeing more of these bright faces in our community nonetheless. That's going to do it for here. Be sure to catch more of this kind of action with local schools going up against each other in thrilling matches on more of the Rotary Challenge, which you can catch on Saturdays at 6:30 right here on Channel 25. That's it for now. Thank you so much for watching.
If you've lived in Central Texas for a while, you know what the red tie means. If you're new to the area, it means the potential for severe weather here across the area, and we're going to continue to track that from beginning to end as storms roll across the spring. We do have a tornado watch that's in effect right now.